all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today's Tuesday, the 24th of March. Most of India is now in lockdown, with airlines preparing to stop passenger operations, all in the desperate attempt to curb the spread of the highly infectious novel coronavirus. The number of infections more than doubled over the past 4 days to 471 yesterday. There have been 9 deaths so far, with the most recent one in Himachal Pradesh. 30 out of the 36 states and union territories in India have imposed a complete lockdown. Only Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha are the ones that have announced partial lockdown of some areas. Now, markets in India have been in a tailspin, with the benchmark equity indices falling 13% in yesterday's session and the banking index falling nearly 17%. The rupee closed nearly 1.5% lower against the dollar at 76.29. All of it relates to fears of how companies and the economy will cope with the shock associated with curbing the spread of the virus. The SEBI, in a bid to shield companies from the slowdown, has relaxed norms and compliance relating to non-convertible debentures, commercial papers, and other debt and equity instruments. Have a look at the story on the website bloombergquint.com for all the key changes introduced yesterday. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Labour has issued an advisory asking employers to not terminate employees, particularly casual or contractual workers. The advisory also says that employers must not reduce the wages of workers. The Maharashtra state government issued a similar advisory earlier this month, advising employers not to retrench workers or reduce wages. In other news, India has introduced the threshold for taxing income of NRIs if the person qualifies as a deemed resident by staying in India for 120 days or more. Such an individual won't have to pay tax for income up to 15 lakh rupees. This was introduced, among other things, in amendments to the Finance Bill. Another significant update is that the government has raised the cap on special additional excise duty on petrol and diesel to 18 rupees and 12 rupees per litre respectively. The earlier limit was 10 rupees per litre for petrol and 4 rupees per litre for diesel. This essentially gives the government more room to raise the duty on fuel, especially in the current context, with Brent crude at near $25 to the barrel. Every rupee hike in excise duty, remember, helps the government earn between 13,000 to 14,000 crore rupees annually in a base case. Here are some updates from around the world now. The UK will go into lockdown after Prime Minister Boris Johnson ordered sweeping measures to keep people from leaving their homes for at least 3 weeks. Italy reported 601 new deaths from the coronavirus yesterday, posting a decline for a second day as the country enters its 3rd week of lockdown measures designed to keep the spread of the disease in check. The Federal Reserve offered to directly finance US companies, an unprecedented move, jumping ahead of US Congress to shelter the economy from the impact of the coronavirus. It acted after Senate Democrats yesterday again blocked action on the nearly $2 trillion economic rescue measure to respond to the coronavirus pandemic, insisting on stronger protections for workers and restrictions for bailed-out businesses as they rushed to reach a new deal with the Trump administration. Stocks fell more in the US in response to the delay, and it's a weak start for markets in the Asia-Pacific region. The International Monetary Fund has confirmed what everyone's been thinking of. It said that it expects a global recession this year that will be at least as bad as the downturn during the financial crisis more than a decade ago. That is expected to be followed by a recovery in 2021. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking at the start of trade today?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. Well, we are seeing a little bit of strength return to the Japanese and Australian indices, and because of that, the SGX Nifty futures are currently indicating an opening which is marginally in the red. So there could be some relief this morning. But moving on, we have the National Stock Exchange, which has deferred its index rebalancing across various equity indices, which was subject to be effective from March 27th onwards. And it will continue to monitor market conditions and announce a revised date for index rebalancing by providing a 2 weeks notice. Avenue Supermarts has clarified that there are some stores which have remained closed for operations on certain days based on directives by local authorities. Currently, the company is only selling daily use essential items such as grocery and FMCG products at all stores. The company continues to receive a regular supply of goods from all of its suppliers and distributors, according to a clarification on the exchanges. United Spirits will produce 3 lakh litres of bulk hand sanitizers across 15 manufacturing units for use by public healthcare workers. The company will also produce another 5 lakh litres of extra neutral alcohol for the sanitizer industry to enable the production of more than 20 lakh units of hand sanitizers. Reliance Industries sets up a 100-bed center at Seven Hills Hospital in Mumbai for patients who test positive for COVID-19. Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital has also offered to set up special medical facilities to quarantine travelers from the notified countries and suspected cases identified through contact tracing. Now, there's a long list of companies which have suspended operations either fully or partially. And we start with Dabur, which has suspended production at manufacturing units till March 31st, except for essential products like Ayurvedic medicines, Chyawanprash, hand sanitizers, and hand washes. TTK Prestige and Whirlpool of India have also suspended operations at their manufacturing facilities until March 31st. Jubilant Foodworks dine-in facilities across all of Domino's Pizza's restaurant stand suspended in order to mitigate the impact of the virus. The company is promoting takeaway and delivery channels, but acknowledges there will be an adverse impact on the revenue of the company. We also have Nilkamal, which has suspended manufacturing facilities, retail stores, depots, and offices at various locations, and the temporary shutdown will remain in process until further notice. And finally, we have a broking note from Morgan Stanley on Interglobe Aviation, where they maintain an overweight with a price target of 2057. They clarify that 60% of costs of the airline are variable and the other 40% are fixed. And if we do assume no revenues for the company and that now the company uses free cash, Indigo will go through 6 to 8 months of complete cash burn. Now, these are just some of the stocks that we can watch out for as we move into trade today. But don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
This is Alex Matthews signing off. Stay safe and have a good day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.